Have you ever seen the Jewish story and the division being this high temperature-wise in your lifetime?
In our lifetimes, this is the highest it's been. And it's not just China. Partly what's happening here is this is the first war that Israel's been involved in our lifetime with social media. And if you go on social media, just the ratio of people who are passionate against Israel versus for Israel, it's 100 to 1 probably, just based on the number of Muslims in the world. There's a lot of good Muslims in the world. There's going to be a lot of extreme ones who are really passionate about this issue. Doesn't mean they're not good people. They can disagree with me. And so that in itself is going to create a lot of passion against Israel and Jews, right? So there's already that already exists, and then you can exploit that to push it further.
How do you address that?
How do we address it? I mean, man, it's a very, very tough issue.
You're the brains. How do you address that? How do you fix something like that? Because it doesn't seem like it's the temperature's getting any lower.
Well, I would like there to be peace in the Middle East, and I think for me, the only way to have peace in the Middle East is to free the Iranian people and no longer have sponsors of terror around the Middle East. And I think that leads to a very positive outcome. And hopefully, Israel and Saudi and UAE can all sponsor and create peace in Gaza together once the theocrats are gone. And hopefully, that's a much more positive outcome. As long as the Iranian theocrats are there, which is going to be a recurrent issue for us. So I really hope we take them out. I'll be honest about that.
You really hope we take them out?
I think they're evil people who've spread murder and terror and more terror to their own people than anyone else. But
I lived there 11 years. It's a horrible place.
Yeah, it's one of the most beautiful places in the world and one of the most wonderful places in the world if we could get rid of the bad guys.
Oh, if you do. I mean, there's a song by a singer named Moeen, and he says, "Dela mikhad be Esfahan bargardam." My heart wants me to return to Esfahan. Esfahan is one of the richest cities in Iran with history. When my mom and dad were still married to each other for those 10 or 11 years, the only vacation we ever went on was Esfahan. And I have pictures till today as a kid going there with my sister and my mom and my dad. Great memories. But that's Esfahan right there. And Moeen says, "Dela mikhad be Esfahan bargardam." I'd like to one day return. My heart wants me to one day return to this city, Esfahan.
One of my favorite books is Cyropedia, which was written about Cyrus the Great leader, and it was used actually to train European aristocracy princes for like 2,000 years, and there's all the wisdom of Cyrus, and you kind of get this like really sense of like the greatness of the Persian people from that. And it's very optimistic. It's about virtue. It's Machiavelli ended up becoming like the thing people used after him, which is the opposite. Machiavelli is like this very cynical take, which is a dialectic. It's also true, but I really like the Persian side. And you grew up, my mom's side's Jewish, and what the Persians did for the Jews and the natural alliance, it's been there for thousands of years. That's what we still feel. So I really hope this is something that can become a positive.
Why do you think no matter what happens, it's always the Jews' fault? No matter what happens, it's always the Jews.
I think you're going to blame the people who are outsiders, who are different, who are successful. I could say it, I'm Jewish. I think it's slightly annoying sometimes when you're like, it's like this little neurotic, like smart person who like makes more money than you. You kind of want to punch him in the face, you know? I don't know. You tell me.
I can see that. Did you hear what Thomas Sowell said? Thomas Sowell said...
I love Thomas Sowell. What did he say?
He said something so funny one time. He says, you know what my advice to Jews are? For the world to start liking you a little bit, start losing. Start losing.
Yeah, his mentor was Milton Friedman, who was a little Jewish guy.
Yeah, Milton Friedman. I have a painting in my house with Milton Friedman in it.
I love him. I got to spend lunch. I got lunch with him like 20 times because I was the editor of a paper when he was there at Stanford.
How was
in his 90s. He was amazing. He was always interested in new ideas, and he really shaped a lot of my thinking on economics. Amazing man.
Milton Friedman. You spent 20 times with Milton?
Yeah, his wife was often there too. They were in their early 90s when I was at Stanford, and he was at Hoover. Yeah.
You know how hard I've tried to do an interview with Thomas Sowell? Their family won't let it.
It's too hard. He's such a great man.
Listen, the two of them, the debates, when you would watch them do the debates, what's the one book he wrote? Is it called Reader? I think it's called Reader. I don't know can you type in Thomas Sowell Reader? I just had my son finish this book 2 years ago. He was 12 years old.
He had a conflict of visions that I love.
Click on that one, Rob.
Which one you?
Yeah, Reader. Oh my God. It is like a must read. My son read this at 11, 12 years old, and he breaks down ideas in the simplest way.
You know, this guy would be so much more famous if he wasn't black, because he's black, the left doesn't want anyone to know that he's conservative. Well,
here's what's funny, though. Conservatives today are not talking about him enough. I think conservatives need to remind what Thomas Sowell... But go back to that with Iran. So Iran, right now, at any point, you and I are talking right now, at any point, anything could happen. It was supposed to be this weekend.
I think there's a negotiation on Thursday, is my understanding, but I don't know. I shouldn't be saying it.
I thought they said they're not going to do anything. I thought Witkoff and Kushner walked out and said, no, we're not Rob, do you have that one clip I sent you from the foreign minister where he's being, did you see this one a few hours ago?
Oh, no.
The foreign minister is being interviewed, and he's asked about, hey, I noticed you said that there are 40,000 Americans that are in or in surrounding areas of Iran, and if U.S. attacks, that's open game for you. I send it in the PBD podcast group. If you don't have it, Rob, I'll just send it to you. Do you see it? It's right there, bottom clip, right there, yeah. And she says, "Are you saying you would do something to Americans?" And you should see his answer. Go ahead, Rob.
50,000 American personnel in the Middle East right now. In Iran's letter to the UN Security Council, you seem to threaten them because you said America will bear full responsibility. You said you don't want war, but if that's what happens, all bases, facilities, and assets of the hostile force in the region will be legitimate targets. Are you saying Iran will hit U.S. bases in the Gulf, or will you also bomb the Gulf countries that are your neighbors?
Well, I'm not going to say what we are going to do exactly. Obviously, we defend ourselves. If the U.S. attacks us, then we have every right to defend ourselves. If the U.S. attacks us, that is the act of aggression. What we do in response is the act of self-defense. So, and it is justifiable and legitimate. So our missiles cannot hit the American soil. So obviously we have to do something else. We have to hit, the Americans' base in the region. That is a fact.
What do you think is going to happen?
Listen, I think these guys sent someone to assassinate Donald Trump. We know this. The FBI regime caught him. They were told if they missed, that he'd probably lose the election, so wait and try to get him again after he lost the election. This was the official instructions we found. So these guys were trying to kill Trump. It means that if they're still around after Trump's president, they'll probably try to get him and his kids again. So if I was the president, there's no chance they'd be around after I was president. That's all I'll tell you. I mean, and by the way, I think it's very good for the world to eliminate this evil for your people and for all of our peoples.
Yeah, a lot of people are worried it could turn into another Iraq, and we spend a few $1 trillion.
But is Iran really Iraq?
I don't think so, but a lot of people think it could turn into something like that. You hear the two arguments. I think they're going to do a surgical mission the way they did Venezuela, and it's going to be clean, and here's what's going to happen. And then the other side is like, how do we know that for a fact?
So if I was in charge, I'd be very Roman about it. So, and I don't know, maybe this is not appropriate, but I'd be very Roman. So the Romans would do, you'd go and you wipe out the leadership class, so you're all dead. And then you say, okay, you guys are now in charge. We're going to make a deal, or we're going to kill all of you too. It's up to you. Because it's going to be IRGC who's in charge again, probably, right? Because they're the guys with the guns. And say, okay, now here's what we're going to do. We're going to make a deal. Here's what's going to happen. Here's how your republic's going to work and to be free people. And if you don't do that, then we'll kill you all in 6 months too. And then we'll give you another chance. But I don't think we should be occupying it ourselves. That's bullshit. I think Iraq was terribly run. I think trying to go and have people over there is ridiculous. But should these guys who have acted like they've had, who have spread terrorism around the region, who have tried to kill Trump, who have killed so many people, should they be allowed to get away with that? No way. I wouldn't let them get away with it. I'll tell you that.
How much you think the attack's going to be a collaboration with Israel? Or you think it's going to be...
Well, Israel has really good intelligence there in the region, and so obviously if you're doing something, you need to work with your allies to do as good as possible. It's the same thing as like, we were talking earlier about are you going to use Palantir to do an operation? You're going to use whatever you can to do it as best as possible, and I think in this case that involves our Israel. It probably involves other allies too, hopefully.
Is Israel a customer of Palantir?
Yes, actually, we started working with Israel. It was one of my most proud moments because they're kind of like the NSA where they don't really want to work with outsiders and they don't really buy from anyone else. And it took us several years to break in, but we did break in to work with them.
While you were there, or it was something that happened?
It was something that I was working on even as an advisor, like shortly after I
got
was
it.
leaving. Yeah.
Is it recent, like 5-10 years? Or
No, it's been a while.
It's been a while. So okay, so they've been a customer for a while.
There's over 40 countries, as far as I know, who are allies who work with Palantir. Israel is not one of the first several, but it is where the key countries originally were the Five Eyes, right, which is the core five allies, which is Canada, UK, New Zealand, Australia.
Yeah, I saw somewhere where is there a structure where if there's who can't you work with? Is it based on what sanctions are?
Well, I mean, first of all, the company is a mission-driven company. We never have wanted to work with our enemies. We're not going to work with the Malaysians, not going to work with Russia, we're not going to work with North Korea, not going to work with China.
But not because of regulation. It's a choice.
I mean, at this point, it's definitely regulation against it too. I think early on, if we had tried to go work with those guys. Maybe we somehow could have, because the government wouldn't have noticed, but that would not have been ever something we wanted to do, because we had a mission-driven company to fight for the good guys in the West.
But meaning, even if you try to go...
These days, if you try to, because of what it does in the Department of War, of course, it wouldn't be allowed to. And by the way, I'm not even allowed to go to China anymore right now.
You're not allowed to go to China. Right?
No, I mean, China. I've had friends who are running other defense companies, so their planes going, for one case, to Taiwan, and they forced the plane to do an emergency landing in China and searched all his stuff, and then they let him go because he's American citizen. They didn't want to, but they actually did an emergency landing, searched all his stuff because he's a key defense executive, and then let him go on Taiwan. So I'm not supposed to go there at all, nor are a lot of other people who've worked in these areas. I've started a few big defense companies now. You're not supposed to do it.
Yeah, that makes sense for somebody like you to go there. It would be.
I wouldn't want to go there. By the way, I used to love to go to Shanghai. It's a great Beijing. They're a fascinating part of the world, but not right now.
Not right now. When we set out to create a shoe that blends comfort, function, and luxury, we had the choice to make it fast. We had the choice to make it cheap. We chose neither. Instead, we chose Tuscany, Italy. We chose true Italian craftsmanship, each pair touched by 50 skilled hands. We chose patience, spending 2 years perfecting every detail, and we chose the finest quality at every step. Introducing the Future Looks Bright collection. Not rushed, not disposable, not ordinary. Rather, intentional, luxurious, timeless. If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.